So in the Quran, Allah He has warned us about apostasy by many verses in Quran, and He talks about shirk, what is shirk, and what is kufr. And we talk about this later on. Apostasy means what? The one who get kicked out of the Islam, leave the foes of Islam. Now the scholars, may Allah have mercy upon them, have mentioned in this chapter on the ruling of apostasy. My question was, who is a scholar? What is a scholar? What type of scholar are they talking about here? You.
A Muslim scholar.
Muslim scholar, good.
The scholar who fears Allah.
The scholar who fear Allah the most, good, yes.
Who follows all the rules.
Who follow all what rules?
Like
Scholars, all Muslims got to know all the rules.
Okay. So what makes a person a scholar in Islam?
they have to study the Quran and they have to study the beliefs of Islam.
Study Quran, beliefs of Allah.
The 5 pillars and 6 Iman.
I talk about what is a scholar. It's very important for a Muslim to know who's a scholar. I mentioned this yesterday, and somebody thought a school teacher is a scholar. A regular school teacher. A regular school teacher, it's not a scholar in Islam, might be a scholar in that academic field they are in. But what makes a person a scholar in Islam? They must have some tenets of faith, or they must have some things in place to be considered a scholar. Shh, be quiet. What makes a person a scholar in Islam? It takes a few things that must take place. First, Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Indeed, those who fear Allah the most from His slaves are the scholars. So first, the person has to have knowledge about Allah Azza wa Jalla, and he must fear Allah. He must have knowledge about Allah, religion, the ins and outs of the religion, which we will talk about in details, and he must what? Fear Allah. So if a person, he has knowledge of the religion, but he don't fear Allah, we do not take knowledge from him. And if he's a person, he fears Allah, but he doesn't have no knowledge, we do not take our religion from him. Now, what things he must know about the religion? I will mention. First, he must know the Arabic language in and out. Related to al-nahu wa sarf, Arabic grammar, and conjugating verbs. Al-balaga. Balaga is one part of related to Arabic grammar, related to the eloquence of speaking. He must understand adab, Arabic literature, and al-mafradat, and vocabulary. And he must have a vast, large understanding of Arabic vocabulary and literature, which vocabulary comes from literature. No questions. Then after that, you have to have knowledge of many other fields. In Islam, there's different fields. When somebody says he's a scholar in Islam, what type of scholar? Everybody who has a recite Quran, speaks Arabic, do not make them a scholar in Islam. And that's the problem that many Muslims have today. Many Muslims take people who are ignorant just because they speak Arabic or they memorize the Quran. They think this person is a scholar in Islam. And they don't know how to go check a person's reference or their background. So you have different type of scholars. First, you have a scholar in the field of al-fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, who knows the in and out of the Arabic language, who knows also related to as mustalah hadith, science of hadith, who know also things related to usulul fiqh, and who know also other fields. And he studied the different madhahib of Islam, the different opinions from different scholars of Islam from the past. And he knows the ins and outs of these issues, and he can issue what we call al-fatwa, or take questions and answers. This is al-faqih. He understands the Quran. He understands tafsir of Quran also. Then we have another scholar who's a scholar in Sharia, Islamic law and legislation. And he might also be a faqih. He might also be a faqih, the one who understands fiqh in and out. But his background is more about the legislation of the Quran and he has to have with him the Arabic language, the Quran, a large portion of the Quran must understand, just like a faqih, and he must know the ins and outs of the different opinions about different issues. So some scholars of faqih also study the Sharia. And then we have what? From the Sharia, al-Qadi, the Muslim judge, the Muslim's judge, who knows the Sharia in and out, the different opinions related to the different madhabs of Islam. He knows the ins and outs of these things. He is called al-Qadi or Faqih. And he is most likely he studied a degree in Islam under al-Sharia wa Qanun. Well, a Faqih might study Sharia, and he might also study al-Usuluddin. Al-Usuluddin. We mentioned the meanings of these things later on. Then we have a scholar who specializes in al-Hadith. Al-Hadith. Al-Hadith al-Sharif. What does it mean of a Hadith? Yes.
All the steps and knowing about your religion.
No. What is the meaning of the word Hadith? Yes.
I think the Shahada.
No. What is a Hadith? Yes. Yes.
A hadith or a hadith.
Same thing.
Oh, I think apart from the Quran.
No.
A book,
Hadith and ahadith is not is the same meaning, but one is a singular, one is the plural.
a book that
Book is what?
a book that shows about your religion.
And what is hadith?
That Prophet Muhammad said something.
Yes, what the Prophet ﷺ said, or what is a tribute to what the Prophet said and did. A hadith is related to something the Prophet said, did, or a ruling, or a judgment of his, or the decision of his, or something contribute to him, his statements, or his actions. Alright, this is called a hadith. Hadith generally means shay'in jadid, al-jadid. It literally means something new. But related to the Islamic meaning, istalaha, it means the statements of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from his statements, actions, judgment, ruling, or how he lived, or what a person attribute to him, what companion of his contribute to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of doing and saying sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you have a scholar who specializes in hadith, and we call this al-mustalah hadith, the science of hadith. When we know if a hadith is al-sahih, authentic, al-hasan, good, da'if, weak, al-mawdu', fabricated, al-marfu', wal-gharib, wal-mashhur, wal-mursal, all these things, all these terms are related to al-mustalah al-hadith. So we have a scholar who specializes in this. Then we have a scholar who specializes in ulum al-Quran, the science of Quran, related to tafsir of Quran. Understand the reason why Allah sent down verses, different verses of Quran, and the interpretation of these verses. And we call another scholar of tafsir related to al-asbab, the reason why Allah revealed this verse in Quran. Then another type of tafsir explains al-mufradat fi al-Quran. And you have another type of tafsir that explains the words in the Quran. Then you have another type of tafsir that explains al-lugha fi Quran, or al-nahu fi Quran. The grammar, the Arabic grammar in the Quran is another form of tafsir. So you have a scholar in tafsir of Quran. Mufassir. And we call him al-mufassir. And then we have another scholar who studies al-lugha, Arabic language. Arabic language. And with each of these different fields I mentioned, you have people who specialize in these fields, and with each field has some type of speciality. Like in Arabic grammar, a scholar in Arabic language, because we cannot understand the Quran, and we cannot understand the Sunnah, we cannot understand the Sharia, the laws of Islam, without understanding the Arabic language. So when you hear me saying this book, what is the scholar? What is the scholar in Islam? What a scholar say about something related to the tenets of the faith, or the scholars mentioning something related to if a person is Muslim or a non-Muslim, or something that a Muslim do put him outside the folds of Islam. When I say a scholar, I'm not talking about somebody who comes to the masjid and he talks and he prays his salah and he doesn't know nothing about the religion, even if he speaks Arabic. We have some Muslim who are not non-Arabic speakers who believe any Arab who speaks Arabic, when they see him, that he's a scholar in Islam. That's not because I'm Arab, a person's Arab by tongue or speak Arabic, does not make a person a scholar. Because somebody memorized the Quran word to word does not make them a scholar in Islam. Alright? Because somebody memorized the Quran does not make him a scholar in Islam. Because you have many Muslims who memorize the Quran. If I go to Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghan, Africa, many Muslims memorize the Quran word to word, and Allah going to give them reward, but they don't understand not even one word or two sentences or three sentences of the Quran. They don't understand what's in the Quran.
Did you memorize the Quran?
No.
Were you close?
No.
Even if you memorize it, you're gonna forget.
You have to review the Quran.
I know.
But everybody who memorized Quran is not a scholar. Now you have some scholars in Islam, or mention these fields of Quran. I mean, these fields I mentioned in Islam, they memorize the whole Quran. Because the Quran supports you. If I'm a person studying the Islamic law is coming from Quran. So I must what? Memorize most of the Quran, or a lot of the Quran, or the whole Quran, because it will support me in what I'm learning. If I'm a faqih, I study Islamic fiqh, I need to know Quran, because a lot of my rulings are coming from what? Al-Quran. If I study al-tafsir, from the ulum al-Quran, the science of Quran, the tafsir, I have to know the meaning of the Quran. So most likely a person who studied tafsir is going to memorize a large portion of the Quran. And then we have, I forget to mention, the people who study al-tajweed. Al-tajweed. كيف يقرأ القرآن الصحيح. Al-Muqarrij al-Sahiha, the correct way of pronouncing the words in Quran and reciting the Quran, and a different qira al-Quran, because we have different styles of reciting Quran. We have people who specialize in these fields.
Yeah.
Alright? So when I'm talking about here scholars, I'm talking about scholars who are al-faqih, scholars who study the Sharia, scholars who study the fiqh and aqidah of the Muslim from the past. From the past and some from the present. Alright? So when I say, the scholars say, I'm not talking about some guy who comes here, and especially in this country, you have people who come, they give the khutbah, they're not scholars in Islam, they might memorize things from the Quran. They call you to remind you of the Quran. They call you to do what is right. They give you good reminders. We call people like this al-du'at or da'i. A da'i is the caller of Islam, and du'at is the plural. You have people like this who come, or a khatib. We call them al-khatib, the one who gives the sermon on Friday. He's a khatib. And every khatib is not a alim or a scholar. Right? And then we have from among scholars in each field, they are on different levels. You have major scholars, big scholars. Then we have then we have students of knowledge. Inshallah, I'll be from I'll be from the students of knowledge. And inshallah, all of you be from or Talibul You'll be students of knowledge. Because Allah, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man yuridu Allahu bil khayran yufaqqih fid din." Whoever Allah wants good for, He give them comprehension of the religion. It's very important for the Muslim to understand his religion. You will see from what I mentioned today about the nawaqid of Islam, the nullifiers of Islam. So when I say something about the scholar, because you're young, many of the Muslims don't understand. When the scholars say, a lot of Muslims, even adult Muslims, they don't understand who is a scholar in Islam. They think anybody who come and talk, he's a scholar. Some would think I'm a scholar, and I'm not. Many Muslims don't. And many Muslims, the true reason why I mention this is because many Muslims attribute or identify certain individuals or personalities as being scholars, and they are not. And these individuals who they think they're a scholar, they misguide people. They misguide people. They misguide people. And they might have Quran with them. They might memorize a lot of things. They might have a degree in Islam. They might study Islam, but they have some deviant things with them. So it's very important for the Muslim to understand Qala Allah, Qala Rasul. Qala Allah, Qala Rasul. Yes.
What makes you a scholar then?
What makes you a scholar? A scholar makes you a scholar. I mentioned some things already. You have to study in and out what? The Arabic language. In and out. You must be fluent in the Arabic language. Depending on what field you study in or scholar what you feel. For example, I go to the doctor, right? I got a problem with my foot. Do I go to the eye doctor?
No.
I got problems with my eyes. I need glasses. Do I go to the doctor for breast cancer?
No.
So you have different type of doctors, right? In different fields, correct? Islam is the same thing. You have different scholars in different fields. Or every doctor, even in a field, same field, all doctors on the same level? Or all doctors in the same level? Who been to the emergency room before?
Well, no, my sister.
Okay, when you go to the emergency room, depending on what hospital you go to, if the doctor's kind of young-looking guy, he has another doctor who's over him. He has another doctor superior over him. And there's something complicated that he don't understand. He has to go to his superior doctor or the superior over him to get a final call. Because you have some doctors doing their internship. They're learning. They're getting practice in being a doctor. You have some doctors who got their own office, which means they have that experience. So all doctors are not on the same level. For example, somebody going to medical school, it's not like the doctor been practicing medicine for 10 years. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Same thing about Islamic knowledge and Muslim scholars. You have scholars in different fields, and you have the student, and you have the scholar who's like this, who got the high knowledge in that field that he's studying, whether it's hadith, specialized in science of the hadith, whether it's specialized in Qira'at al-Quran, how to recite the Quran. You have people specialized just in the different recitals of Quran and how to pronounce the Quran properly. Then you have a scholar who specializes in Aqidah also, what the Muslim believe in. Al-Aqidah. You have some scholars who specialize in Usuluddin, learning the ins and outs of the deen, Usuluddin and Dawah. They know the ins and outs of the religion. From fiqh, a little bit about Sharia, a little bit of how to give dawah to people. He has a little bit of everything. Because his life is going to be, his field is most likely going to be involved with calling people to become Muslim. Giving dawah to Muslims and non-Muslims how to practice Islam. Then you have a scholar who specializes, like I said, in Sharia. His life or his work is what's going to be most likely in Islamic court system, like a lawyer and a judge work in the court. All right. Now each of them learn a little bit about each other field. Because if I'm a scholar in the sciences of tafsir, for example, most tafsir is coming from a hadith. Explanation of the Quran is coming from a hadith, like Ibn Kathir tafsir. If you look at Ibn Kathir tafsir, which is one of the famous tafsir, he's coming from a hadith. Now, if I study the sciences of tafsir, I must know a little bit about the science of hadith. If I know if that hadith that he's mentioning in the book, and that tafsir is weak or correct, or there's a mistake with this hadith, with the narration of the hadith, who came with the hadith. So, if I study science of tafsir, I must understand a little bit or a lot about science of hadith. If I study the Sharia law, it's coming from Quran and it's coming from Sahih hadith and Hasan hadith. So I got to understand also the science of hadith. What makes this hadith weak? What makes it strong? Is somebody in the criticism in the narration of the hadith? This hadith is weak. Why? There's some issue with one of the chain of narrators of the hadith. Either he had a bad memory, he was a liar, or something was wrong. I have to know about it. So each knowledge, each field support the other field. Everyone understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Ahmed.
What's the point of reading Quran if you don't know what it means?
You get rewards. Al-Thawab. You get rewards. The Prophet ﷺ said, even the one who reads Quran and he's struggling with the reading, it gets double the reward. So if you don't understand the Quran, you still get the reward. You still get the shafa'. The Quran is a cure. You get it when you read it, even if you understand it or not. It's a shafa' for you. and the day of judgment. It will help you, assist you, if you read it, practice it, obeyed, listen to Allah. It will come to an aid for you on a day when you will need it, and even in your grave when you die. Sam, you have your hands up? Yes.
I finished the Quran like a year ago.
Memorize it?
No.
Reading. This qira, this reading.
I don't understand it though.
That's okay. Because everybody has to start from somewhere. Yes or no? Everyone has to start from somewhere. Now, and related to the Quran, because now we're off topic, related to the Quran and reading it and understanding it, everything comes in stages. Arabic is not your mother tongue. You should memorize as much of the Quran as you can. But sometimes when people go to school, especially Quran school where we live, the children learn by stages. They memorize the book first, and then later on they learn some of the meanings after they memorize it. Why they do it like this doesn't mean I agree with it, but I understand why they do it like this. It takes time for the child to memorize Quran. Maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So they focus him on his memory, which is build his memory. He build his recital, because in reading Quran, also there's important with reading the Quran correctly and reciting it correctly, which is a lot of effort. Yes.
I don't say that like the Arabic. I say like a little bit like the accent kind of.
Then that's something called al-Mukharij, al-Mukharij, al-Sahiha. Al-Mukharij is reciting the letters properly, which the brother teaches here last week, right? How to pronounce each letter properly. The brother from Egypt who's out of his Quran, who has very good, he has 2 different styles of Qira'ah of Quran with him. And he teach brother. He said, who was here? He even said, he's from Egypt. Hey, this is the correct way to pronounce this letter, but in Egypt people pronounce it like this.
There's different ways to learn about.
So he's saying even Arabs, even an Arab speaker have to learn the correct way of reciting the Quran. Why? Because even amongst Arabs also been, mixed with other cultures and other peoples who spoke other languages. How is that? Well, Islam spread. When the Arabs spread Islam, they went to other countries and Islam spread. What happened to the people who was living in those countries? Did they kill them all? No, they didn't kill them all. These people became Muslim. And the Arabs intermingle and marry with them, and some of their language mixed with the Arabic language. This is why we have rules of reciting Quran. And this is why we have rules in reciting reciting Quran with tajweed, and we have rules in Arabic language. Because Arabs start mixing with other non-Arabs, and their culture and their language start mixing with them. So some Arabs start pronouncing things wrong due to the Arabs mixing with other people who spoke other languages, Muslims. So this is when scholars start writing rules for tajweed and rules for Arabic grammar, so they don't lose the correct way of pronouncing and reading the Quran as it was revealed. The Quran was revealed in different ways of reciting it, so they memorized it. So even the Arabs been influenced or mixed with other non-Arabic speakers, and this is why we have these rules in the Arabic language and in reading Quran. So you not being an Arabic speaker by nature or by birth, that's not a problem. You learn the meaning of the Quran as you go there. But if you're not in the school for memorizing Quran, and you just go in there to read, and you're memorizing certain portions, then you should also try to learn the meanings, which you could do on your own. By picking up a Quran that has translation in it, or word-to-word translation. And some of the short surahs in Quran, especially Surah Al-Fatiha, you should know the meanings of them in your language. Yes.
What if you read the Quran in English? Do you have to like you finished it in English?
Do you get the same type of reward?
Yeah.
No. Because Quran is what? Allah said He sent down the Quran in the clear Arabic text. The Quran is the Arabic. So whoever's translated of the Quran, whether it's English, Urdu, Pashwa, French, Bengali, it's not the Quran. It is a tafsir of Quran, explanation of the Quran. The translations are explanation. It's not the actual Quran. The Quran is the Arabic text. It's very important.
I read the Arabic.
Right? The Arabic text. If I go somewhere and somebody start reciting the Quran in English, that's what he's doing. The Quran is in Arabic, not in English or French or any other language except for Arabic language. So the translations are explanations of the Quran. Yes.
Doesn't matter in each country. Doesn't matter which way they read the Quran. Like
There's different styles of reading Quran.
house and water.
Waters, all those are different ways the Prophet ﷺ taught. Allah revealed the Quran in these different styles of reading. And some of the different styles of reading during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Arabs spoke proper Arabic. The word Arab really means in the Arabic language, Araba Fushan or Fasahan. Speak the Arabic language correctly. Or Arab also means in Arabic language, I said one word in Arabic have multiple meanings, right, in usage. It also means to become Arab, which means to speak Arabic language correctly. So in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Arabs spoke Arabic correctly, and they have different ways of speaking. And the Quran was revealed in these different styles. All this is classical, proper Arabic. But after the Prophet died, ﷺ, and after certain generations, after the companions and the Tabi'een, when the Arabs start mixing and Islam start growing to other countries and growing, and more people embracing Islam from the non-Arabs, becoming to the Islam and the Arabs mixing with them, then you have different languages coming amongst the Muslim. This goes back to why you have vowels in the Quran. The original Quran you see written down doesn't have vowels. In the time of Uthman radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalifa, the Persian people who were from Persia, start becoming Muslim. Non-Arabic speakers start becoming Muslim. So they put it in there, the vowels, for non-Arabic speakers to recite the Quran properly without mistakes. Because you change the vowel in Arabic, you change the sentence and the meaning of the word and the sentence. In Arabic language, not like English. In English, if I don't want to change the meaning of a sentence, I have to either rewrite the sentence or add a different word in it or rewrite it. In Arabic, I can write the sentence in the same order. All I got to do is change the vowels, the ending vowels, or some vowels in the beginning and the middle of the word, or just alone the ending vowels, I change the meaning of the verse.